Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Rubbins Racing Next Gen series, sponsored by Butt Kicker, broadcasted live 1080p, 60 FPS by Team Goon Squad. You're in the booth, joined by Gareth McAllister, and I also have supporting me James East as well.
Gareth, good to be back up here in the booth broadcasting a great race. Looking forward to what's going to happen. It's going to be a long night at the 1 Mile Raceway, the smallest track these drivers have been on so far this season. We've got about, I want to say it's about 12, 13 drivers making their way out after Robert Mathis Jr. qualified in pole, but looks like drivers are getting out on grid, so go ahead and take us through the grid for today's main event.
Alright, first on the grid, we have Robert Mathis Jr. starting out with a very impressive time of 31.045, followed by Wayne Grenon. Third on the grid, we have Stephen Gibson. Fourth, we have Aaron Sayer. Fifth, Garrett Hall. Sixth, Nick Leo. Seventh, Butch Taylor. Eighth, Leaf Smith. Ninth, Jake Vanovsky. 10th, Carter Linz. In 11th, we have Mark Cassano. And in 12th, we have Dominic DeLeo. And I believe in... Nope, that's
That's it. 12-car grid, so looking like a little bit tighter grid tonight as we get ready to line them up behind our iRacing pace car. Gareth, it's going to be relatively about a 45-minute race with this feature event. And again, the smallest track these guys have been on, we're going for 90 laps. So with the smaller grids, we might have a little bit cleaner racing, but it'll be tough to tell as these opening laps are going to kind of tell the story for these drivers as they get ready to start this race.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We're really looking forward to 90 laps at this short mile track, and hopefully we don't get too many cautions or butts or woes, and we can get this thing going pretty well. As the green
As
flag
you
has
say
just come
that,
out.
yeah, green flag flies. Take it away, Gareth.
All right, as we have Mathis Jr. and Wayne Grenon going side by side into turn one, looking very racy already. And there's already multiple, well, we've got battles all over the track at the moment. Too wide all the way through the field as Grenon is able to make that move on the high side. Now, interesting, there's not that much banking here tonight, so these drivers quite surprised using the outside to make that high line work. Hope maybe that'll get rubbered down later on where it won't work so well, but it seems like it's working pretty well so far with most of the cars going around the track now, as we see some more battles happening a little bit further on. Stephen Gibson and Garrett Hall going close to side by side. Hall looking to the inside, not risking too much, it doesn't look like, as we're only lap 2 out of this 90 lap event.
Yeah, Garrett Hall's going to play it safe here, not wanting to risk too much too early on. As he's looking, I'm trying to see, he finished 11th last week for race 8, so he's currently running 6th in points. Still looking for his first win of the season. Right now, Nick Leo is up front in the points, 224 points to his name, 3 wins. He is about 5 points ahead of Dominic DeLeo, sitting in second. DeLeo has 2 wins, so we've had 8 races, and I believe 4 different winners so far. So going to be interesting to see if Grenon, your current race leader, running about 3/10 of ahead of Robert Mathis Jr., will be able to bring home his first win. But Gareth, we're going to have an early caution to throw a wrench into things here today.
Yeah, we already have an early caution, as it looks like it's showing Smith has had an accident. Let's pull that one up real quick, as the Wreckage Rewind bringing up here. Let's see what happened to him. Oh, it looks like he's just lost it. He's tried to correct, and hopefully he can get that thing stopped. And wow, great job not avoiding the wall there. Not managing to hit the wall or any other driver, so doing a really good job of keeping himself out of trouble and keeping the field relatively intact.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if maybe Smith got a little bit slight help from behind there. It's tough to tell, but Yeah, great point. This early on, the field's still fairly stacked up. We don't have any big breakaways, and he may have sacrificed a little bit on tire wear there, but going to be able to get back out there, try and salvage some points. Unfortunately, he will be showing 12th in that number 65 Chevrolet as Wayne Grennan, Steven Gibson, Butch Taylor, Aaron Sire, and Carter Lenz all coming down pit road. Looks like Mathis, Wall, and Leo will stay out, as well as Dominic DeLeo will stay out. So about half the drivers coming in, half the drivers staying out. Not sure what the strategy is going to be here tonight to see who's going to be able to break it to the end. Now, these drivers are running an 80% fuel allotment, but we're only 4 or 5 laps in under green, so surely we're not having to take fuel now, or do you think maybe the guy's just trying to get off strategy and try something different early on?
No, I'm sure this is all a strategy game at this moment, James. There's no way that this can be a fuel situation or even a tire situation. I can't imagine this early on. So I think this is definitely some strategy playing in, and it should be interesting to see how it plays out later on in the race and whether that was a smart decision or not.
Now, the drivers tonight do have an unlimited set of fresh Goodyears behind pit road, as we see everybody 7th through 12th, 5 drivers coming down pit road, taking 4 fresh tires and filling it back up. So, but again, how much can 4 or 5 laps on a set of tires in the opening race really matter in the long run here? As you've got drivers such as Grennan and Gibson and Aaron Sire, Butch Taylor, Leaf Smith, they're all down 4 to 6 positions early on. While Garrett Hall, your race leader, he's going to be showing, excuse me, I think he might be second here in the number 13 machine, but on the front row, he's only up 3 spots. So I'm curious to see how much of a benefit that's going to be coming in with that early pit stop and taking 4 tires. I just can't imagine the top 6 drivers are going to have that much fall off, but we've seen wilder things happen in the past year at the Rubbins Racin Next Gen Cup Series.
Yeah, our last race at Gateway was full of interesting moments and some fun stuff. So it'll be interesting to see whether tires are as much of an impact as they were in that race to this one today. So it'll be really interesting to see as we have Mathis Jr., Hall, and then DeLeo, Leo, and Vanosky rounding out our top 5 as they go under green again. And Mathis Jr. gets a giant shunt up front, a giant push up front, really timing that start to perfection there. And we see them still running the middle line. It's quite interesting that they're not running all the way at the apron, and I wonder if that's got something to do with the way these cars are handling at the moment. Fixed setups for this league, so everyone has the same equipment. It's all down to the driver and how they use them. And Hall getting a much better run through the corner there as we see them coming back and making that lap already done. We can see here, best lap already set is further back in the field. So we see Steven Gibson already setting the fastest lap of the race and getting very close to having quite a bit of dramas, looking almost like he's going 3 wide there.
Yeah, Gibson trying to push up early. Gibson, the number 53 machine, trying to catch up to Mark Cassano. Cassano running 6, but Gibson's got to keep an eye out as he's got a lot of fast drivers behind him that came in as well in that lap 5 stop. You've got Wayne Grennan, Aaron Sire, Butch Taylor, Carter Lenz. All these drivers we're used to seeing up front as Gibson dives it in deep against Cassano. Is he going to be able to work his way up into 6? It is very early on to have the aggression out on track, but that may be the best time for these drivers to make big lunges. They've got fresh tires underneath them, and they know they've got about 10 to 15 laps before the rubber starts to fall off. And at that point, the passes will be much harder to navigate. Your race leader, Robert Mathis Jr., stretched out his gap to about a half second over Garrett Hall. And I think here shortly, oh, yeah, you can see it there. Gibson still putting the pressure in Cassano for the battle for 6.
Yeah, Stephen really the first driver of all of those who came down to get tires, so he might be making moves more aggressive than he usually would be just because he's trying to make as much use as he can of those 5 laps of extra fresh rubber. As we'll pan the camera back to our leader, Mathis Jr. Now, he is starting to get reeled in a little bit by Garrett Hall, who has brought that interval down to less than 1 less than 4/10 of a second. So it'll be interesting to see what happens up front here.
Yeah, Mathis still holding that 4/10 of an advantage gap over the number 13 Ford of Hall. Ford running first and second at this point of the race. Mathis fastest lap time so far, a 31.25. Hall with a 31.36. So Mathis has the raw pace, but will tire wear become a factor as the field starts to stretch out? I say that, you still have Casano, Gibson, and Grennan going back and forth. We're going to try and pan the camera back to the battle for 7th as they are swapping all around here. It looks like that's going to be, I believe that's Taylor on the outside line in the Bass Pro Shop number 33 machine. Grennan and the highlighter yellow 28 trying to work that inside line. But Gareth, we've only got a mile of racetrack to play with, so even less than the cookie cutters such as Atlanta, such as Charlotte, and definitely a lot smaller than the super speedways we find ourselves at, as there goes the 44 of Mark Cusano. Looks like all by himself, loops it around. I'm not seeing the caution flag come out, but Cusano's got big problems here as he drops back to 12th.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of ground to cover up now from that sad mistake. Unfortunately, he just kissed the outside wall there. And, yeah, looks like he's going to bring it down pit road, potentially. Just, yep, maybe even use his fast repair. These drivers getting one fast repair this race and every race that they run on. So he might even use his fast repair just to get that small amount of damage fixed up, or maybe he's just changing his strategy back. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Unfortunately, pitting under green, not always the smartest move, but if he thinks he can get something figured out, maybe later on we might see him up there. You never know with these small mile tracks, a lot can happen.
Yeah, agreed. Even though Casano's going to be about a lap down as he comes out of pit road, that's going to be putting him, and we might have a caution come out again as around goes, who is that? That's Grennan and Sayer, both involved in an incident. And now he's going to have the caution, so Casano should get his lap back.
That was...
How's that for timing, Gareth?
That came out of nowhere. That timing was absolutely perfect as we watch on the Wreckage Rewind here. That, yeah, what caused that?
A little bit of bumping, a little bit of grinding, and not enough real estate for these drivers to make their way is what I would call it as.
Yeah, the 53 car there of Stephen Gibson just got loose, tried to check it up, and Grennan unfortunately ran him over and sent that thing into the outside wall as well. Got a lot of damage on the front of that race car.
Yeah, Grennan's number 28 machine looked like a next-gen Tour modified here, completely ripped off most of the front end. So you can expect Grennan to come down pit road and take his fast repair, and looks like the entirety of the field's going to come down pit road as well, opting to throw on some fresh Goodyears, except Carter Lenz. He's going to stay out in the number 4 machine. Yeah. So very interesting, as I believe Cusano will get the lucky dog here, I think. Yes, he will. So he's going to get waved around or pull up next to... there he goes. There goes Cusano. He's going to get the lucky dog. So how's that for luck? The number 44 machine, after his early incident, able to get back in the lead lap. But drivers have to be careful at this point. You only have that one fast repair. And once you find it used, you have no more get-out-of-jail-free cards for the evening.
Whoa. They look very racy already getting off pit road there. That's quite interesting. Quite interesting little battle on pit road. As yeah, it'll be very entertaining to see Linz try and hold off these cars. He was one of the drivers to pit on that first pit stop of 5 laps. So we'll see how worn those tires are after 12 laps of extra running on top of the others. So yeah, it'll also be interesting to see how Cusano makes his way up through the field. He's got a little bit older tires as well, but as you said, he's back on the lead lap now. So yeah, should be a good restart here that we're getting ready to watch.
Yeah, all of a sudden we've kind of got a strategy race in the works. Still 70 laps left to go, and I think it's going to be anybody's guess who brings it home here at the end. Is now it'll be Carter Lenz opting to stay out. He'll be on 12-lap older tires than the entirety of the field behind him. Cusano dives down pit road as quick as he can. He's going to try and get his stop going and get back out, but he was definitely waiting for that lucky dog to get out there Gibson will be running 11th. Smith now running 10th. So a lot of fast drivers now finding themselves towards the back of the field, and they'll be having fresh tires as well. So it'll be curious to see how they're able to run through the field here.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this one goes. Yeah, we are we're definitely looking forward to the start of this one again, as the gridders are currently single file and they should be getting into double file after they just crossed the line here now. And yeah, here we go as they start lining up. Grennan looks like he's come in once again. As we saw, he did have the damage to the front of his car. There it is. The front end is just completely torn off of that car. So, oh, and there he's popped into place. I think he used his fast repair there, as that car looks good as new. So that'll be good, and that'll be very beneficial for him. And even though he'll be starting the last car on the lead lap, he is still on said lead lap. So yeah, it should definitely be a good one as we come to the 20th lap of this 90 lap event here today. As we get the pace car is going to head in to pit road very shortly, and we will get them rolling once again. As there we see the pace car pitting in. We've got Carter Linz and Robert Mathis Jr. starting 1 and 2, and Linz gets a pretty good jump. Mathis able to hold with him though, as whoa, what a dive from Garrett Hall, really making that thing go in there. I can't believe he made that move, passing both cars on the entry to turn 1. What an incredible move there. So we see drivers are looking already quite dicey as they're dipping, weaving, zigging and zagging. Left, right. Looking a little bit loose. Now is Mathis also starting to try and reel in Carter Linz for second place.
Yeah, Mathis making big moves. Everybody making big moves at this point. Carter Linz is currently up 8 positions from where he started tonight. Garrett Hall, your race leader, he's up 4 spots as we saw Hall with those very gutsy passes. Drivers knowing they've got their fresh tires underneath them, but let's look at the battle for second. Carter Linz, Robert Mathis Jr. going back and forth. Meanwhile, they're being chased by Nick Leo, who is no stranger to coming home the top spot here of the Rubbins Racin Next Gen Cup Series. He's watching this side-by-side battle for second and maybe waiting for these drivers to make a mistake, as it looks like Leo considers taking it 3 wide through 1 and 2, backs out of it slightly, but he's showing these drivers the wheel, and we're going to have something interesting here as second through about 7th place, all stacked up in one tidy little pack, Garrett.
Yeah, Vanoski looked like he got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2, so it'd be really interesting to see. He managed to hold it though. Mathis finally making that pass on Linz, and Leo coming up as well. Now Leo does have 3 wins, currently leading the championship point standings, so I'm sure he really wants to try and stay out of it, as only 5 points behind he has Dominic De Leo, who I don't think is actually in this race. So
no, DeLeo did not make it out today, so it's going to be a little bit of a smaller party than we've seen in the past. But what's going on with Cusano, the number 44 machine? He's showing some sort of incident. The caution doesn't come out, but poor Cusano having a very rough go of it here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, I believe he probably just got a bit loose and managed to get the car back pointed the right direction, got it under him. So yeah, no real need to worry about that. I'm sure he can get it stacked back up and hopefully just wait for a caution to come out.
Oh, speaking of that, Nick DeLeo, we've wished it into existence here. Nick Leo, the 69 machine, finds himself nosed into the inside wall. We'll take a look at that replay and see what happened to the jewel-backed Chevrolet.
Yeah, he just gets a little bit loose and tries to correct it. We've seen a lot of that coming here. And even we saw a lot of that at Gateway last week. So, very well done by all the drivers there to avoid him. And, he manages to keep it out of the inside wall. Geez, these drivers are getting it locked down very quickly. It's great job to them to keep that one stable. keep it stuck there and not able to damage these cars, keeping the fast repair under them for if and when they will need it, and we hope they don't, because it's looking like a very good, very clean race so far, with a lot of drama-free laps, which is good to see. So it should be interesting. Garrett Hall, Butch Taylor, Wayne Grennan, Leaf Smith, and Mark Cassano staying out. The rest of the field seemingly coming in as Gibson goes around, taking the wave around there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. These drivers are not limited to a certain amount of tyres. So, as we can see, Aaron Sayer is already on his third set of tyres, as well as Stephen Gibson. And Hall still only has pit once so far tonight on the lap 17 caution. So, it should be a fun one. He'll be on some older tires than the rest of them, maybe. Yes, it looks like half the field, as I said before, have come down to get new tires, and they should be dealing with about 10 lap newer tires than the rest of the guys up front. So, starting with Mathis Jr. and Gibson comes down once again.
Yeah, Gibson comes down pit road after getting the lucky dog, so he'll be a little bit delayed to get to the tail end here, but will still be on the lead lap, so the caution's boding well for certain drivers. And like you said, Gareth, it looks like about the top 5 drivers on older tires. They came around between laps 17 and 19. It's Wayne Grennan with the latest stop, so going to be interesting. It looks like some of the drivers may be gambling more on track position, more so the fresher tires, so those could be the drivers you see tonight that are expecting to see these cautions come out every 10, 15 laps or so. Gonna be interesting to see how that plays out as some of the faster guys behind them, if they can get that long green flag run, could look to do well and getting around some of these drivers later in, 20, 25 laps or so when everybody else's tire starts to fall off.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how long the tires will last on this place, but there's no banking to assist, and I'm sure the loads are quite high with the flatness of the racetrack and how hard these guys seem to be cornering, especially Hall with a move like the one he did to go from third to first within the first corner. So it'll be interesting to see when and if these tires fall off quite quickly, and how that really affects these cars going forward. As you can see, the massive difference in the grooves there from 1 and 2 into the top section of the racetrack. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to act like glue to these cars, but sometimes when you get different levels of rubber laid down, the car can really respond very well and actually almost feel like it's very planted and doesn't really move around a whole lot. So it'll be interesting to see if these drivers, we've seen them sort of go around that middle-ish sort of part of the racetrack. So it should be good to see if someone can make a move by using that aspect of this race, as Garrett Hall gets another huge run. Butch Taylor gets a little bit stuck there as Grennan manages to make that pass as well on the inside for second place.
Yeah, Grennan flying up the inside line, getting around Taylor Mike quick. And like you said, with the track conditions as well, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, I've never driven this track in the next-gen Cup Stars, next-gen Cup cars, but I have turned quite a few laps in the Gen 6 machines. And unlike a regular mile and a half or a super speedway where you have to kind of baby your front right, this track's been a little bit tough on the right rear as the car starts to squat on exit out of turns 2 and 4. And I don't know how it's going to affect the next gen Cup cars, but in the previous iteration of these machines, it can actually make the car looser as the runs on. And that's going to be an interesting thing to play out to. So a little bit different driving style coming into play at New Hampshire, as it looks like Grennan trying to put the pressure on Garrett Hall for the lead about 1/3 of the way through tonight's race. And it's been a flurry of cautions every 8 or 9 laps for these drivers. And let's see if Grennan's going to have anything for Hall here, trying to get right on that back bumper of the 13 machine. But Hall, knowing he's up 4 spots from where he started, he's on a couple lap older tires than Grennan. But they're knowing both of these drivers have to keep forward momentum, because Robert Mathis Jr., the number 29 machine, has already worked his way up into 4th with his lap 26 set of tires. able to help him navigate the field just ever so slightly out here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's looking very racy all around the track here tonight, as we've got Leo setting his fastest lap of 31:44, which seems to be the fastest most recent lap of any of these guys putting down. As we have quite a few battles going on, we've got Mark Cassano and Leaf Smith going side by side, and there goes Cassano. He goes around.
Oh, Cassano, the poor rainbow. Oh, you know what paint scheme that is?
No,
That is the very special Putin paint scheme.
oh boy.
We'll try and get maybe a TV1 shot of that one. And we'll try and get a good close-up for our fans at home of the very special Stand With Ukraine paint scheme. And speaking of our fans at home, thank you all so much for coming out tonight, supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite league, and you know what? Possibly even your favorite broadcasters. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering for. A lot of these drivers will have the broadcast pulled up on a separate screen. If not, they always go back and watch it with us. So let us know who you're cheering on for, because the drivers and myself, as well as Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, will absolutely be in your favor until the end of time.
I wouldn't say that, but I appreciate the vote of confidence there, James. I'm sure everyone here turns out and expects some quality broadcasting, and I hope to deliver that as much as I can, as we see most of the field coming in to serve their first, well, not their first pit stop, but a pit stop, as Mathis Jr., Grennan, Gibson, Sayer, Hall, Taylor, Smith, and Linz all coming in and making their way back out onto the track now very, very quickly.
It almost seems like it's half the field going back and forth here. And look, Dominic DeLeo is out on track, Gareth. He's now running second in the number 22 machine. So my apologies earlier for the missed call. Dominic DeLeo running second, up 10 positions. Not sure how I missed his name. Usually because I see him and Nick Leo in the 69 machine and kind of get them intertwined at times. Always a broadcaster's challenge when those two drivers are right next to each other. Leo and DeLeo, who'll be on the front row. Vanoski and Cassano showing as your second row. And Mathis and Hall will be your third row, as it looks like it's about half the field at a time taking turns with pit strategy. Leo, DeLeo, Vanoski, and Cassano stay out. Meanwhile, Robert Mathis Jr. running fifth, and everyone behind him came in a lap 34, so it's always about a 10 lap difference as far as the tire strategy goes tonight.
Yeah, yeah, it is interesting that there's a lot of different strategies playing. Oh, well, I say a lot. There's two major different strategies playing out so far. So it's certainly looking like a strategy game more than I expected. More of a racing sort of game from a track like this. But I guess with the amount of early cautions we've had, they've really changed up the field, and drivers have thought, maybe I can't quite match the pace with some of the front runners here. So I'll try and divvy it up and get something going as we get the green flag once again. Dominic DeLeo not quite able to get the power down, as well as Nick Leo, who manages to get that thing rolling very, very quickly, as we've got Vanoski really doing a good job there underneath Cassano, and there just seems to be a massive build-up. Almost thought about running 4 wide, it looked like, for a second there. That looked like it could have been very, very dicey. 3 wide potentially again. God, these drivers are really trying to make moves early on in this green flag run.
Yeah, that's Mathis, Cassano, Hall all in the mix here. And what we're seeing right now is the two different tire strategies come together, both literally and figuratively out on track. Some drivers able to carry a little bit more pace with those 10-lap fresher Goodyears, and some drivers just out there trying to survive at this point. As I say that, I couldn't quite tell who just tagged that outside wall, maybe right behind Hall. Not sure if that was possibly Grennan or Gibson there, but oh, this is an interesting race. I mean, with the short green flag runs and different pit strategies, you've got guys such as Robert Mathis Jr. who have already climbed back up to third here in this run.
Vanoski looking like he might have actually tagged the wall just then, as it really seemed like his pace slowed down quite a bit on the outside there. as Garrett Hall looks like he's trying to make a move and take advantage of that, as well as Robert Mathis Jr. in front of them. We've still got a massive gaggle behind these guys of Grennan, Gibson, Cassano, Taylor, Linz looking at 3 wide potentially to turn 1. This could get very dicey. Oh, as these guys manage to sort it out very well done by Cassano there, not wanting to be on the outside of that 3 wide battle. That looking very interesting. As you've got Taylor and Linz going side by side now for 8th place. And Linz looking like he's not quite able to send it as much as he wanted to on the inside of turn 3.
Yeah, got to give Cassano credit there for that move. He used his fast repair early on tonight. He's been involved in a couple of solo incidents, so he kind of took a look at the battle in front of him, threw out the anchor to fall back and said, you know what, I got no part of this one, just too risky to make anything happen. Looks like Gibson and Vinoski going side by side once more in the battle for 6th. You've got Vinoski trying to work the high line. Gibson with a very scuffed up number 53 machine on the inside. Looks like he will get clear. The 7 is right behind him. Taylor and Linz are side by side in the battle for 8th. This is some spectacular racing all across the short 1-mile raceway. And around goes Vinoski right in front of Linz. That'll bring out our 5th caution of the night, as poor Vinoski just nowhere to go on that one.
Yeah, ever since Vinoski tapped the wall there, or at least it looked like he tapped the wall on the outside line, he's been handling a very loose race car. You can just see it. So, yeah, it just looks like he can't quite keep that car underneath him as he wants to, and he's just putting the power down a little bit too early, and it's just sliding out from under him. And unfortunately, Linz nowhere to go. Tried to put the brakes on, and has just run into the side of him. Minor contact though. Shouldn't be anything for either of these drivers to really worry about. These cars, as we know, are designed for some beating and banging, so they should be good to go. And a small mile track like this, I can't imagine aero has a massive influence, unlike the super speedways that we see. So should be able to still maintain some race paces. We've got a lot of cars coming in. Mathis Jr. staying out. Garrett Hall also staying out. Leaf Smith as well. Everyone else coming down pit road. Very, very busy pit lane at the moment.
Yeah, only 7 laps since the last pit stop for Mathis, Hall, Smith. So there's going to be 3 drivers valuing the track position. Again, not counting on a long green flag run. And spot on, the draft, not super important here at the short raceway at New Hampshire. I guess my biggest concern for some of these drivers is if they have aero damage that maybe makes the car tighten up prematurely. But with the amount of cautions we've had so far, this is our 5th caution of the night, I don't think we're in big fear of long green flag runs. The tire is going to really start to wear out. And looks like we've got world famous Daniel Beauchamp joining us here in the spectator area, saying the stream's raising the benchmark on commentator quality. Always appreciate the kind words from fans and drivers of other series coming out supporting the broadcast. Aaron Sire in pit road for a bit of an extended stay. He's been in a stall for over 35 seconds, so I think Sire may be out of fast repairs here as he makes his way back out on track.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him in any major accidents, so yeah, not too sure with that one. Maybe he didn't want to use his fast repair. Potentially he thought maybe another big one's coming out later and he can fix whatever problems he has now, so he just wants to get that sorted out and save his fast repair for when he may actually need it. You never quite know with these drivers. They do have the option to turn the fast repair off at any time, so they don't actually have to use it when they come down to get any sort of damage fixed, and might not have thought that that's a huge issue at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. As we approach the halfway mark, or now that we're at the halfway mark of the race, drivers know, for better or worse, no matter the amount of cautions, things are going to go by a little bit faster at this point. As I believe it's going to be Mathis and Hall, the front row, Leo and Smith, your second row, Grennan and DeLeo, your third row. Still a lot of hard hitters up here, as Robert Mathis Jr. still searching for his first win of the season. The pace car comes in. Mathis gets a good launch. He gets about 3 car lengths over Garrett Hall going into turn 1. and we're going to send them back out once more. Looks like Leo, the 69 machine, diving in deep, trying to put the pressure on Hall. And just like that, we are going racing again.
Yeah, these drivers getting very, very involved. It's looking absolutely spectacular. Smith almost looking like he checked up a little bit too much there. Some of the drivers behind him looking like they might have almost run into the back of him. Stephen Gibson getting very, very racy at the moment. As Butch Taylor really making that outside work a bit for him, which is we've seen him stay fairly high for the most part of this race. So it does look like there's an interesting sort of trackline strategy as well as the tire strategy that's been shaping up. Although a lot of drivers now seeming to be on the same sort of tire strategy as they did come in for that last stop. There's only about 3 or 4 drivers that are.
No, we've got a
Whoa!
problem at the back.
It's got
That's going to be, I believe, Smith, Taylor, and Cassano all involved in that one. And a big, big crash right past the halfway mark.
And we can just replay that one straight away because, yeah. Oh, Cassano nowhere to go, so he got involved in that. It looks like Butch Taylor was really, really involved in it a lot. Let's see if we can get his angle of
Yes,
this accident.
Smith tagged the outside wall, I believe. He pipes up over the radio, immediately apologizing to Taylor in the 33, and poor Cassano, who just can't catch a break, he gets into the back of everybody there, and Butch Taylor will definitely be the worst for wear. As again, Smith piped up on the radio and immediately apologizing to Taylor, and you can tell the drivers are feeling awful about that one. Nobody wants to crash into a friend. These guys run several times throughout the week with each other, always having a great time on and off the track. A big, goofy, dysfunctional family, so nobody wants to crash out their friend here at the Rubbins Racin Next Gen Series.
Yeah, Vinovsky, we also saw, got a little bit involved in that one as well as cars kept on going around the field. Just unfortunately, we saw this last week at Gateway. Some of these cars just aren't quite handling the way the drivers want them to be, and they're just not quite. They're getting a little bit too throttle happy, or the car's just spinning around a lot. But as you said last week, you know, the real kicker might be the update that they've brought out to make these cars a little bit looser on the rear end. And unfortunately, if you just get a little bit too much throttle, it seems like it just spins that back end around.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Next Gen Series had a big update, and I might actually try and hop down to the drivers if we have another caution and see if I can grab somebody, and maybe their crew chief can tell me what they're feeling out on track. But you're right. Once they updated these machines, they got a little bit more lively behind the wheel, easier to step out that back end and send it sliding around. And a track such as New Hampshire really shows that it's all about throttle control and trying to hit your marks just ever so perfectly. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. I believe we still have all cars on the lead lap, so that's at least good news. I'm sure quite a few fast repairs were used during that pit stop. That I don't deny that for a second, and I'm sure no one else can. As we get them side by side once again, and we're gonna try and make another go of it.
Yeah, Robert Mathis Jr., Garrett Hall in the front row, Leo and Grinnan your second row, DeLeo and Gibson your third row. Still 39 long laps left to go for these drivers, so it's going to be interesting to see if maybe some of the guys start dialing it back ever so slightly, not wanting to wad up a perfectly good race car. But we still have 12 guys in the lead lap, and still anybody's guess who's going to win it here tonight.
Yeah, looks like Garrett Hall having a little bit of a blip there, maybe a potential small connection issue. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him or get any worse as we get underway once again. Mathis Jr. getting a good launch. Garrett Hall able to stick with him for the most part. Nick Leo getting a really good launch in third, it looks like. Almost going to try and make the move as they get really, really close up front to each other. Oh boy, keep it under you, boys. Don't get that back end stepping out.
Yeah, it's going to get close. Mathis, Hall, Leo all in a mix here as Leo's going to send it up the inside line in turn 3. Side by side with Garrett Hall. Looks like just the slightest amount of contact between the two. Robert Mathis Jr., your race leader, watching this show unfold behind him, hoping those drivers stay too wide. He wants to get a little bit of a breakaway here in the 29 Ford machine and leave the madness behind him, as it looks like Hall and Leo still going at it. And now Wayne Grinnon's going to put his nose in the mix as well on the 28 machine.
Oh, as we have a big step
Oh, look at the
out.
back. Look at the back. Was it Sayer? Who was that? That was Smith.
Smith went around. No caution. That's pretty interesting. I can't believe there wasn't a caution for that one. As we might just go and replay that one, just because I did miss that in the booth. I apologize. As we do a quick look at this one, and yeah, it looks like it just stepped out on him. Yep, it just stepped around on him.
Oh, as we go live again, we've got more action. Vanoski goes around. Aaron Sire involved in that one. And once again, I don't see the yellow flag fly. There it is. It's a very late yellow. I'm not sure what the iRacing officials have going on, if they're out for ice cream or what the issue is, but that's 2 egregious misses, or 1.5, I would say, as the caution did come out for the 7th time. But I was looking out the other window here and noticed that incident unfold, and what an odd night here. Must be a full moon or something.
It's certainly looking like there's some superstitious stuff going on this race. This race is getting very, very dicey very, very quickly. And I expected some long green flag runs, but I've been proven wrong tonight, as Mathis is faking coming down pit road. That's an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, only Hall, DeLeo, Sire, and Smith come down pit road. Again, it looks like Vanoski will join the party a little bit late after he got that machine pointing the right direction. But once again, we're on about half the field with differing strategies here. Mathis has been out a fairly long time. His last pit stop was a lap 34. But I guess in his defense, he hasn't had that many green flag laps on that set of tires. So it's allowing those tires to cool down and keep them from getting too greasy. And he's going to value that track position above all else tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely looking interesting, and trying to pay no mind to the fact that Mathis is getting interestingly close to the pace car there. But I'm sure he's giving someone a laugh watching along in the spectator area.
Yeah, he's become one with the pace car, as they say, and he'll be starting the top spot once more, getting ready to get going. Once we can get him gridded up double file, still a long way to go for these drivers. Looking about 33 laps, it'll be 32 as they take the green flag, and I still don't know what's going to happen here, Gareth.
Well, based on what we've seen tonight, there's probably going to be another caution. I don't want to jinx it, but unfortunately, there's been a lot of craziness happening already. I pray that we can get a green flag run going on, and get these drivers to really have some nice caution-free laps. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, and we talk about the cautions. I wonder if anybody else really needs fuel at this point, or if they can stretch it out all the way to the end with about 32 laps left to go as we get ready to take the green. We haven't seen a green flag stop so far tonight, so that may be interesting. We may actually, if, and it's a big if, Gareth, if we get that green flag run, you may see something interesting happen here towards the end as we get ready and send them green once more.
Mathis getting a really good launch there as Leo is left in the dust. But managing to really dive it in deep. I shouldn't have said that, as Wayne Grennan also making a big move on Stephen Gibson there. Gibson's got a bit of damage in his rear end there. Probably got some damage from earlier on. I'm pretty sure I have shown that in a replay before, but I can't remember exactly who got into him. As we've got Linz and Taylor and Hall all getting involved, as Taylor's starting to get down in the field. Looks like his rear end has still got some... Oh, and then we've got another one. There it is. There it is. There it is. We predicted it, and we saw it happen. We go to the Wreckage Rewind here. And it looks like... Oh! That's the 53 of Stephen Gibson. Just loses it a little bit and gets up into Grennan. Oh, just getting a... Oh, and hit him again. Oh, I hope we don't have any words after that one. That's certainly did look interesting there. Very unfortunate for these guys. I really hate to see it, but I guess that does happen. That's how these things unfold, unfortunately, and we'll get them stacked back up once again, and we'll try to have a look at that is our 8th caution of the night. Still got 30 laps go. Hopefully we can get a green flag run and salvage something out of this, but it's definitely looking interesting so far. As we have Taylor, Gibson, Cassano, Sayer, and Grennan going into the pits once again. Almost half of the field, 5 drivers out of the 12 going into pit lane to get some fresh rubber put on their vehicles and potentially fix any slight damage that they might have, as it looks like Taylor is the first one out, followed closely by Gibson and Grennan as well. Sayer and Cassano are going to stay in there for a little bit more of an extended period of time as they get some damage sorted out. We've still got Mathis Jr. up front, followed by Nick Leo, Carter Linz, Garrett Hall, and Dominic DeLeo, your top 5. So, yeah, it's looking very interesting, looking very racy, looking very chaotic. That's for sure. So, yeah, we'll get them stacked back up, and we'll get ready to go to green once more. And let's keep this under 10 cautions, shall we, drivers? It sounds like a good plan to me. Let's see if see what can happen out of this one as we get them all lined up once again. We've got Mathis Jr. starting on the inside, Leo on the outside, Carter Linz in 3rd, Garrett Hall in 4th, Dominic DeLeo in 5th, Leaf Smith in your 3rd row, starting on the outside in 6th place. Now, a lot of these drivers, we have seen them struggle towards even the start of the run. We've seen some big moves, and we've seen a bit of looseness going on from the back end of these cars, so it'll be interesting to see if we can see another big lunge from the cars starting on the 2nd row as we get underway again, and back into green we go. Mathis getting a huge jump in front of Nick Leo. Lynn's trying to come with him though, as Hall looks very racy as well. Lynn's really sending it in deep, trying to get up to Leo. Leo powering through, and Garrett Hall powering way through the outside there. Managed to make that one stick. Carter Linz falling in behind in 4th place, as they've got a nice train going on. Now, a lot of these drivers sticking to that middle sort of groove there. As I said earlier, I wonder if it's because those right side tires really get glued to that different sort of surface on the top there, different shade you can see, and with the rubber in there, and they just get glued and they just keep going, as Hall looking like he got a little bit loose and had to chase it up the racetrack. Dominic DeLeo also getting involved in this top 5 craziness. Ooh, Garrett Hall looking like he's going to make the move on Leo there for 2nd place. Not quite able to make it stick, as might have felt the back end, and he's really going to send it now. Whoa, what a set, and there it is. And we've got our 9th caution of the night. Oh boy. Oh boy. As he spins that one around and gets it back underway. So we'll go through the Wreckage Rewind once again. This replay button getting a lot of use tonight. Yeah, just sent it a little bit too much, and the back end goes around and catching Leo as well, very slightly. And there it is, just a bit of a knock. Vinosky managing just barely to stay out of that one as well. So, yep, 25 laps to go, 9th caution of the night. It's looking like it's a race. It's a race, folks. It's a race. It is one of those. Mathis looking like he's going to come down pit road. I wonder if he's going to fake it or not. We will certainly find out in a second here, as note he will come down pit road, followed by Leo. Dominic DeLeo, staying outside. Oh, say that real fast, many times over. That's a tongue twister. Dominic DeLeo, Nick Leo. God, I almost got him confused again when I was just trying to... Oh, that's crazy. As only 3 drivers staying out. Dominic DeLeo, Leif Smith, and Wayne Grennan staying out here on the 9th caution. Their last time pitted was 55, 55, and 60 respectively. So Grennan definitely looking like he has the better tires of these 3 lead cars, as everyone else coming in to get their fresh sets of rubber. And yeah, it's certainly looking like a race going on at the moment. We really don't want to see Leo getting a tiny bit of scuff there. I'm sure he wouldn't have used the fast repair, but he probably just got. It might have been why he came down pit road, also to get just a little bit of that damage repaired there, and managing to keep his track position, because he is currently 5 points ahead of Dominic DeLeo, who is at the moment in the lead of this race. Leo with 3 wins, DeLeo with 2 wins. So if DeLeo gets another win, or manages to finish in front of Leo by a couple spots, he will definitely be in front as this championship continues onward, which will be really interesting as we head towards the later half of the calendar, as the pace car has the lights down again. Lights off, as we've got DeLeo, Smith, Grennan, Mathis Jr., Nick Leo, and Carter Linz starting in your top 3 rows, inside and outside line, as Dominic DeLeo getting a huge jump once again. Leif Smith struggling in vain to try and keep up. Mathis is going to take charge, and oh wow, Grennan really closing up the back there. Then that was a bump. That was dangerous. 3 wide already. God, this is getting very, very racy, as it looks like Smith is going to have to pull out of that one. Doesn't want to get involved in another major incident. Almost gets caught up by Linz once again. Oh, this short mile tracks really know how to deliver on the action. It's got Leo and Garrett Hall also battling now. Hall with the inside line, Leo on the outside in the bright white, very obvious to notice Chevrolet, as Hall managing to make that one stick. And I've just once again noticed that Grennan has no back bumper. He has no rear bumper, and somehow he's still able to, and he's got a bit of crumpling on the nose too, and he's able to keep that thing in third. I mean, I am astounded. I am absolutely astounded that he's able to make that thing work. As I say that though, he's gone high, and it looks like Hall and now Leo trying to make the move on him for 4th position, and just barely gets that one done, as these drivers finally seem to start getting into mainly single file. So we've got a big battle here between Smith, and almost taps the wall once again. Almost gets caught up in that one with Cassano. Venoski unfortunately finding himself back there as well, and there goes around Aaron Sayer. He didn't go around, he managed to hold it against the wall there, gets it back underneath him, and we are not going to go to caution. Great save by him. I'm sure he's going to want to see a caution so that he can catch back up to the field at this point. But Smith and Venoski still going at it as we... Up, and Venoski goes round. And that will unfortunately bring the caution once again. Oh, it's so sad to see as he was able to actually get it down off of pit road. But yeah, unfortunate that one. That was very unfortunate. As we'll go for the Wreckage Rewind once again. This button getting a... What has happened? What am I looking at? We're going to have to back this one up, and I'm going to have to work out what I'm looking at right now. What was this? Oh, stepped... Oh! Oh, no! Oh, no! Okay. That was something different. That was definitely something different. God, absolute carnage here at Rubbins Racing. Oh, yeah, Hall just unfortunately gets loose and just, yep, bends it into the wall, but not before collecting Leo and sending him upside down. Oh, that's some craziness right there. That was some craziness. As Venoski is going to bring that one down pit road. After his small spin, I say small comparatively. Wow. That was absolutely crazy. That was certainly something. Grennan, Sayer, Hall, Smith, Venoski, Leo, all coming down pit road. That, wow. Wow. That is some craziness. That's a whole lot of craziness. That, I don't have many words. I'll be honest with you. All these spectators out here watching this one, I don't have many words for that one. That was incredible. I have not seen a car go upside down like that. I don't think ever in my broadcasting career. So that was a first for me. Wow. All right. Well, we'll try and salvage some more of this as we've got 15 laps left. We do have 2 green-white checkered attempts here in case these guys cannot finish the race in an orderly fashion. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and if that plays into it as well. As Dominic DeLeo leading the field now, his last pit stop was on lap 55. He's the only one with tyres that are quite a lot older than the rest of the field. So I don't know how his strategy is going to work out. He's going to try and hold it there at the top end of the field and try and keep the others behind him, as they may have quite a bit more pace, as Mathis, Taylor, Linz, Cassano all pitted on 66, and everyone else behind them apart from Stephen Gibson on 74. Gibson as well last pitted on 66. Leo unfortunately finding himself a lap down this race, this late in the race. So, but you never know. With the amount of cautions we've had come out already, he could definitely find himself with the lucky dog spot coming his way. As the pace car's lights are out, as we get ready to go green once again, we're on the backstretch at the moment. It is Dominic DeLeo up in first place on his outside. Oh no, on his second place. Sorry. On his he's on the front row, is what I'm saying. Mathis Jr. Butch Taylor, Carter Linz, Garrett Hall, and Mark Cassano makes up your top 3 rows. 14 laps to go. We'll see how this one pans out. Cassano, you see a lot of damage on his paint job there. As we get called to green, DeLeo looking very interesting with that weird move to the inside. Not quite sure what's going on there. As they go into turn 1, DeLeo with a small lead over Mathis. Mathis looking very racy on that outside line. Not quite able to make it stick the whole way around, as Butch Taylor will now have a go. And there's already a lot of action in the back. That doesn't surprise me at all with what we've been seeing here tonight so far. Mark Cassano, Carter Linz. Linz is going to try the over-under. I don't think we've seen that yet here today. Not able to make it happen. That might be why we haven't seen any drivers really try and make that one happen. As Smith is hung on the outside once again. We've seen him on the outside a lot tonight. Able to make some gains and also have some drama up there. We've got a lot of battling going on. Vanosky and Sayer in the background going on there. There's a very close battle of Grennan. Don't get into Smith. Not again. As they go 3 wide around Grennan in the middle of that. Oh boy. Oh boy. And Vanosky goes to the outside wall again. Tags it. Rubs on it. He's going to keep it going though. I do know some of these cars, when you get off the wall, they do have a tendency to shoot out back onto the racetrack, but he does a fantastic job of keeping the car underneath him pointed exactly forward. Grennan really struggling with that car as he goes round, and he's going to get collected by Vanosky, and that's surely going to bring out another caution here, but it doesn't look like there is going to be one. Grennan gets it sorted out. He's going to drive back up as we go back to the front. Unbelievable action happening here tonight. DeLeo and Mathis Jr. fighting it out very, very close together. The difference in them is less than 0.2 of a second. You can see the gap there, unbelievably small, as you can still see the smoke there from Grennan's spin in turn 4. Just dissipating slowly here as Dominic DeLeo and Robert Mathis Jr. keep going at it. We've got a battle between Garrett Hall and Butch Taylor for 3rd place. Garrett Hall's going to take that spot away from him. At different points of the race, we have seen Garrett Hall send it in very, very deep and also get very, very loose. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully he can keep this car underneath him as Cassano goes way up the racetrack. I have a feeling that's planned. That might be a new strategy he's trying to make around this track. He's trying to make that one work. But, I mean, he's able to keep in the top 5 as well. Oh, that was very... I'm getting very, very excited up here in the booth. That's very, very close between Taylor and Hall. Taylor had to back out of it. Hall joins Mathis and DeLeo in that 1st place battle. The 3 cars underneath a blanket here. All of them. And there goes around Mathis to bring out the caution once again. Now, I think that's the first spin we've seen out of Mathis tonight. The 1st or 2nd, but either way, not many. He's been one of the more consistent drivers here tonight, and obviously it's just gone round. He's just lost it. That's certainly not what we like to see. As we go to the Wreckage Rewind again for the I don't know how many times tonight, but it's all right. We'll keep it going, and yep, just tries to get everything he can to catch up to DeLeo there and pass him, and unfortunately just has it careening around as he applies just a bit too much throttle. The car not happy with him applying said throttle too early, so a lot of drivers coming down for probably I would assume, definitely their last stop of the race. DeLeo staying out still on those tyres from lap 55. Now, we've got a 90-lap race here tonight, so he's been on those an awful long time. And credit where credit's due, he's managed to keep the car underneath him, and he hasn't really had any issues or woes for the most part for the later part of this race. So, yeah, if he can make those older tyres stick, potentially those older tyres are actually working in his favor. They might actually be coming towards him, and you know what? I'm actually thinking that those older tires might be forcing him to drive a little bit more cautiously, and he can't get as crazy with the throttle. So he might be able to make something work for him in terms of the tires forcing him to drive a little bit slower, so he can keep the car underneath him and not really spinning out as much. I almost wonder if that may be the case with the setups that these guys are running. As we have also Wayne Grennan joining Nick Leo with a lap or more down from the race leaders. But we still have 10 laps on 10 laps. 10. We have, let me try this again. We have 10 cars on the lead lap. There we go. We have DeLeo, Hall, Taylor, Cassano, Sayer, Mathis Jr., Linz, Gibson, Smith, and Vernosky still making up your grid. There they are. 5 laps to go, the 11th caution of the night. Boy, it's been a busy one. It has certainly been a busy one. It's been very exciting though. No one can deny that. This has been quite the event to watch, and very exciting. At least from my perspective. I'm sure the spectators are loving it just as much as I am. And this is getting I'm getting into it. I'm really getting into it now. This is going to be quite the shootout with only 3 laps to go. Oh boy. What are we going to see here? As DeLeo starts on your front row in first position, followed by Hall in the outside, Taylor on the inside, Sayer on the outside, Cassano on the inside for the third line, I believe, and on the outside, I can't keep up with it anymore. It's been a long broadcast. Not really. I don't know. I'm making excuses for myself. Anyway, these drivers doing very good job of keeping me entertained for sure, and I'm sure keeping the spectators and fans entertained as well. As the pace car's lights are out, Dominic DeLeo is probably going to lead the field, I imagine, with he's going to get as much of a jump as he can. Garrett Hall's not going to want to let him get away, and there he goes. There's a big jump. Taylor saw it coming as well, trying to make the move on Hall himself. Hall, as we see, once again, trademark Hall on this track here at New Hampshire, able to really dive it in deep, keep the car underneath him, and he's getting very close to Leo. And then we have another car in the wall, but there's no caution coming out. And no, DeLeo spinning around. No caution, keep it under. It's unreal that everyone's missed him. This is craziness happening here. Hall, I don't know. I'm not going to put blame on anyone, but Hall's looking very racy, that's for sure. And Taylor, followed by Mathis finding himself in the third spot. Gibson, Sayer still having a battle. Cassano getting involved in that one, as well as Linz as well. Oh my god, it's an absolute crazy fest here. Oh, Cassano and Gibson getting very close to each other. Sayer's just up in front. Linz is looking on. So we've got only final lap to go. Sayer gets in the wall. We're going to pan back to Garrett Hall, our leader, by almost a second. He's drifting very wide though into turn 1. That was looking quite dicey there. Cassano goes around in the background, but we're going to keep our focus on the leader here as we make our way round the final set of corners. Garrett Hall is going to take the checkered flag, and there he is with a mad win. Butch Taylor coming in second, Robert Mathis Jr. in third. Wow. Not a whole lot I can say about that one. Not a whole lot I can add to it, that's for sure. Garrett Hall bringing in his very first win of the season. I'm sure that was a congratulations there by Mathis Jr. Absolutely incredible racing Incredible, incredible racing. Ah, congratulations to all the drivers just to make it to the end of this one. That was chaotic. That's for sure. That was crazy. As we see Garrett Hall burning it down right now as we will. Those are some nice looking burnouts there. I like the smoke show on the front straight as we bring up our results here. There they are. Hall with the first place. Taylor, Mathis, Gibson, Linz, DeLeo, Vanoski, Sayer, Smith, Casano, Leo, and Grennan in your 12 spots. Those are the drivers there. As we wait for the drivers to make their way up to the waiting room and we can get some interviews rolling here. I can't wait to see what some of these drivers say regarding their cars in this one, as there's a lot of celebrations, which doesn't surprise me at all. Garrett Hall with his first ever win this season, coming out with a spectacular run, really diving it in deep. Really diving it in deep in a lot of those situations. As we are going to get Mathis up here in the booth in just a second. As I figure this out, bring him up. Hello, Mathis. Gareth up here in the booth. You copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, that was just I have very little words to describe how that race went. That was absolutely chaotic. But you managed to pull home a third. You had a very strong car. What do you think caused you to have such a strong car? Do you reckon it was just being patient with the throttle, or were you able to just? Do you reckon a lot of the tires? Do you reckon tires had something to do with it? Because there was a lot of tire changing going on throughout that race.
Well, I think the tire changing was just because of having unlimited sets. I actually think what helped me out the most was Gateway from last week, since it's such a similar track, having all the laps from that race. A lot of it translates to this track, so I think that's what helped me the most, really.
All right. Well, what what did you think about all those cautions? We had, I think, 11 or 12 cautions tonight. There was a lot of stuff going on. What was your thoughts on how a lot of those were caused? Do you reckon it had something to do with the update, or just the way the track sort of is without any banking to assist with the cornering, or?
Well, I mean, once you got a few laps on your tires, I mean, the coming off the corners became pretty treacherous. So I mean, I'm really not surprised at the amount of cautions. Frustrated that there was that many because I would have liked to have seen a green flag run. I think we had a really good car in the long run, but we just never got to it.
All right, well, still managing to finish in the third place. Definitely nothing to sneeze at. Which, do you have any sponsors, family, friends you'd like to shout out to for that third place
Yeah,
finish?
yeah. Just shout out to H&M Motorsports first and third. That's a good finish for us. Shout out to Modern Security on the car, and shout out to all the guys that do the broadcast and admins that put on the league. Appreciate it.
No worries at all. Thank you for turning up and putting on a great show. And we're excited to get Hall's opinion of the first time he's won a race. So fantastic for you guys. Your win for your team tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and we are going to pull up Butch Taylor now, your second place driver. Butch Taylor, you got a copy?
Yeah, how are you doing?
So, how was the race from your perspective, man? There was a whole bunch of cautions and a nice second place finish to end it off.
Yeah, very very tough race, tough car track combo. You know, it's very tough to figure these cars out. You know, one minute they're tightening up, the next minute they're loose. Just very tough combo altogether.
Yeah, there was some crazy action here tonight, but we saw you get involved in a few of them, but you managed to squeeze your way into second place. Did you see that second place coming, or were you surprised to have that spin and that little battle going on there between DeLeo and Hall?
I was surprised to see it. I was gonna be happy with third, to be honest with you. I was gonna try to hold on to third, and then I seen that happen. So with 4 laps to go, you just try to keep it clean and race as hard as you can.
All right. Well, we're excited to see you make it to second place spot, and hopefully you can get your first win sometime soon. And any sponsors, friends, family you'd like to shout out to tonight for this second place?
Definitely butt kicker for sponsoring the league. The guys over at Rubbins Racing, got a lot of good guys over there. A Better Hammer on Twitch and Linden Steel Company. They all make this possible. And definitely a shout out to you guys at Team Goon Squad. You do a great job with the broadcast. Maybe one day we can clean it up and y'all won't have so much action packed to talk about.
No, no worries, Butch. It's uh, it's it's a lot of fun causing all the commentating over all the craziness that we see here in the last couple of weeks. That's for sure. And
Well, like I said, definitely been tough track car combos here the past few weeks, but hopefully it'll get better.
yeah, we've got Atlanta up next. We look forward to see how you perform in that one, and hopefully we can get you to victory lane sometime soon.
All right, thank you, Garrett.
All right. And that was Butch Taylor, your second place. We're gonna get Mr. Garrett Hall, man after my own heart. Garrett, welcome to the booth. You are joined by Gareth. Man, I just said to the spectators, you're a man after my own heart with a similar sort of name. So fantastic one on your first win there.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
saw.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not the way you want to win it outright on pace. So I do want to take a chance to apologize to the 22. I do feel like we were just chasing the same bit of racetrack. I was trying to hold the line, but you know, don't want to spin a guy out to take the lead.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a lot of that going on all across the racetrack. Certainly not the way you thought of ending it, but at the same time, we saw you had amazing pace throughout the entire race, making some very, very ballsy moves, uh, especially that three-wide action on lap one of, I think, caution number 6 or so. I mean, what was going through your head there? Did you just get a great launch, or what happened?
I think that was the one. I'm trying to remember exactly. There was a lot of cautions. I'm pretty sure that was the one where I think the leader was the only one that stayed out on that particular run. I had like 15 lap fresher tires. Um, he didn't spin the tires. I just got in deeper and I just pulled out to the left, and thankfully it stuck. I mean, I did that move probably like 4 or 5 times throughout the night, and it worked. And on 2 occasions, well, on one occasion it didn't, and that's when I spun with Nick, Leo. So, but yeah, I had grip. I could put it on the bottom and go. It didn't matter if I was on the top line, low line, middle line. Like the car was fine. It was just a little loose on exit.
All right. Well, we know you want to celebrate this first place. I don't doubt that for a second. So, any sponsors, friends, family you'd like to shout out to today?
Oh yeah, shout out definitely to my mom and dad watching back in North Carolina. Hey everybody, my girlfriend, lovely to see you. RubbinsRacing.com, Linden Steel Company, Better Hammer, go check them out on Twitch. And most of all, H&M Motorsport. Thank you to Robert Mathis, because he was showing me in practice how to kind of get around the track, because I didn't feel like I was really anywhere to begin with. But yeah, big shout out to H&M Motorsport, helping each other out through the week, through the race session. So yeah, it's a good day.
All right. Well, fantastic to hear it. And congratulations on your first win of the season. And hopefully we can get you back up here, maybe even in Atlanta next week.
Fingers crossed. Appreciate it, Gareth.
All right, and that will bring our broadcast to a close. What a crazy night here at the Rubbins Racing Next Gen Series. And we will see you all same time, same place next week. Have a good night, everyone.